Okay, so here's a brief update about what's going on. Um, and I'm at the nursing home right now, but I wasted all morning long. I went to the post office because I wanted to do to do a change of address for both me and my mom, but I needed to talk to them in person instead of doing it online because I needed to ask some questions. So I went, and as I was going in, there was this guy waiting on the stairs, right? And he went in right before. It's like he waited for me to get there and then went in right before me. And then a few minutes after, this guy came in after me, and they kind of exchanged glances and then just stood there a little bit. And the guy behind me was smirking a little bit. Okay, I knew something was going to happen. So finally, it's a long line. I'm wasting a lot of time because I have packing to do. Remember, I'm like, even, I already have the new apartment, and I've been moving some stuff in slowly, but I've got the actual movers to move, like, some of the heavier things like furniture, in a few days. So, and I'm leaving, like, after this month. I'm not gonna have my mom's old apartment. This is the last month. So I'm wasting time waiting in the post office. I'm stressed out. It's chaos. I should be home packing, or, at least visiting my mom and then going home packing. Anyway, so the guy in front of me goes up. He takes care of business. I hear him whisper something to the teller. She looks back at me. Great, something's gonna happen. Then he says bye and she says bye, and I hear his very thick Russian accent, and I know something is about to happen. So I go up and I explain to her what's going on, and she looks irritated. She looks kind of annoyed. She looks like she's bored and like I'm wasting her time. And then she says, well, they don't have any change of address cards anyway, so I can go somewhere else, and she doesn't know how I should deal with the issue. I guarantee that fucking, he told her to do that. He told her to give me a hard time and to not cooperate with me and to not help me. And this is what I'm saying, when you're a target, people, like, if they don't, they won't work with you. Like, so if they don't do their job, you're screwed. And they won't do their job. Like, they won't work with you. It's like living in society without having access to the benefits of society, right? Or to the resources of society. And because you need to legally access, these resources in order to live in society, it's how they run you out of society, right? So what's going on? I already gave a few companies my new address, and I'm not getting mail there. I got a few pieces of junk mail, including one letter that I sent to myself at the new address just to test it. It came a lot later. It came pretty late. But I'm not getting mail, like, from the electric company, and they said they had already sent out a welcome letter a long time ago. Okay, it should have gotten there already. But there was an issue with my name change, and they said, well, they would send it, under my old name, care of my new name, or something like that. And maybe that's why it didn't go through. Either way, I'm not getting important mail. And I'm worried because I have to have mail sent there, including my, updated driver's license, and there's something from, the state I need, something else from the state that I need. If I can't get my mail, I can't live in society. And that's just for me. Then there's my mom's issues, right? I have to deal with her legal issue. I have to deal with her financial issues. I have to deal with the legal issues that are left over. And these companies need a legal physical address, and I don't know where to send her mail to. Because after this month, we're not going to have access to the old apartment anymore. So there's going to be her taxes, which I'm going to have to pay for the first year, for the year, because now most of her money is going to the nursing home. But there was, before she went into the nursing home, I have to pay the taxes for all of that. And then after that, she's still getting a little money coming in. I'm going to have to pay the taxes for that. So they send that to a physical address. I don't know where to because if at my new address, they're not going to cooperate, and they're not going to send mail to, if you put it like care of somebody, well, then I need her mail sent to the nursing home. Here's the thing. I had already contacted two companies, and how's it going? I had contacted two companies to have her mail sent to the nursing home. And so far she hasn't gotten mail here. She got one piece of mail from Medicare, whatever. But she didn't get any other mail. She's not getting mail from her other health insurance, which they refuse to work with me at all. So I don't know what I'm going to do about them. And that issue is still going on where they weren't billed, and so we got a bill now for like thousands of dollars. But because they won't work with me, I can't talk to them. It's crazy. But the other two companies will work with me, and they said they sent their mail here after I requested it. But here they're saying they didn't receive any mail. So I don't know if it's the post office causing problems again, because the post office will do that. Or if it's not the post office, if it's someone from within, if it's a perpetrator from within taking the mail here and also at the new address. So this is the shit that's going on. So yeah, at the post office, I asked, what do I do? And the woman said she didn't know, and they don't have a change of address card anyway. So I wasted all this time. Anyway, this is what's going on. And I'm at the nursing home right now. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with my own affairs. I don't know how to deal with my mom's affairs if I can't get legitimate mail anywhere. I don't know. I'm exhausted. I'm home now. It's been such a long day, and I recorded 2 clips throughout the day. I'm going to put these together, 1 or 2. Well, 2 or 3, I don't know. We'll see. So, I was at the nursing home today, and what's happening is I brought my mom, this is a long time ago, I brought her 2 blankets from home. And whenever I used to do her laundry myself, right? But now with everything going on, they're doing it because once she transferred from the rehab section to the actual nursing section, the actual nursing home, they're going to do the laundry. Well, what happens is, even though I put her name on the tag, like they said that you need to label it, or you can take it downstairs and have it labeled, or you can do it yourself. So I did it myself. I put her name on the tags, but what would happen is they would go missing. They would, someone would take it to wash, and they would say, "Oh yeah, it takes a day. You're not going to get it back the same day." But then the next day it wasn't there either, and I would tell someone, and they would say, "Oh yeah, I'll go check." And then the next day it wasn't there, and I would tell someone, and finally they would go check, and they would get it right. But why is it getting lost? And some people are nice. Like, there are some people who work there who are very nice, and they're attentive, but there are also people who just don't want to do anything. Like, they'll brush it off, and they'll, I'll tell someone, and they never do. Then, the next time I bring something up, they'll say, everybody will say, well, we didn't know, because they didn't actually tell anyone, and they didn't do it themselves. And this could apply to anything. So, I started thinking, my mom had clothes there, and her blankets, and, her stuffed animals, and pictures, and I'm thinking, well, what happens if something happens to me? What happens if I can't be there to tell them to make sure that she gets her stuff back? I have a feeling if I hadn't been there to say, hey, her blanket is missing, they never would have given it back, because every time that happens, they look shocked. Even though everybody has been in there, they've seen her blankets, they know what is hers, then they come in there and it's gone the next time, and they look shocked, and they say, well, what does it look like? They know what it looks like. So I said, all right, you know what? And I told the woman up front, and she's nice sometimes. And I told her, I'm going to take my mom's blankets down, to have the people at the building, tag them with her name and her room number and whatnot. And we started talking, and then I said, well, I probably won't take her clothes, because just, she doesn't, she's right now, she's bedbound. And the woman said, you might want to do that, because, and I said, she said, because if they go missing, it's not going to be documented, because when they tag them, they also do inventory. And I said, but I already listed them as inventory. And she gave me the list back of what they have as inventory, and a lot of the things aren't listed. So again, this was over a month ago. I had written down everything as inventory, and for a second time, because the first time I did it, and then I asked them later, and they still didn't have it. So I did the inventory again. And well, today when I looked at the inventory list, half the stuff was not on there. So even though I handed it back to them a long time ago, they didn't include it. This is why I say they don't, they'll say, yeah, we'll do something, and then they don't follow through. Unfortunately, I said, well, okay, can I get, so what happened? Okay, so I said, fine, okay, I'm going to just take her clothes down too. That way, not only will they be labeled, but they'll be added to inventory. And that too, if something goes missing, or they'll know, and they'll do something about it. Otherwise, they won't do something about it. If it goes missing, it goes missing. If it's not added to inventory, so I took all of her stuff down, and they said, no, you can't do that. Downstairs, they said she can only have 5 outfits. I said, 5 outfits? And then they said, so one of the women I was speaking with, the woman downstairs is nice, like the receptionist. So she called another woman, and the other lady came up, and she said, yeah, you can only have 5. And I said, well, but why? And she said, well, it's it's a shared room, it's a shared closet, and she keeps saying this, it's shared, but in reality, she doesn't want my mom to have any space at all. It is a shared closet, but there's a divider. It's a wooden divider. It's like 2 closets, right? And my mom's stuff never entered into her roommate's space. Never, not once. I had her stuff packed, stacked neatly and put away in her own closet. It never went into her roommate's space, right? And I explained this to the woman, and she said, well, even still, you can't, you can't. And I said, okay, well, can my mom at least have her robe? And she said, no. I said, what? She can't have her robe? She likes that robe. And the woman said, but your mom is bedbound. So no. Wow. I said, can she keep her jacket here? What if she needs to go out? And she said, 1 jacket, because I had brought a few for my mom. What ended up happening was I had to pick out a few items of clothing, 1 jacket, and have those labeled for her and, added to inventory along with her 2 blankets. Of course, I had to leave them downstairs, so I assume they're going to bring them back up when it's done. Everything else, the woman said, if I can leave them there if I want, but if they go missing, they're not going to do anything about it because they're not going to be added to inventory since they're not being labeled. So I did end up leaving some stuff there anyway, just in case my mom wants it, right? And I took other stuff to storage. It's hard. My mom went from, lower middle class to this. And there's a long story behind this. I'm worried, like, what happens if something happens to me, right? If I can't be there to make sure that she's properly cared for. Anyway, I recorded 2 other videos to talk about what was going on today. I don't know how many of these I'm going to add together. We'll see. We'll see how this turns out.